Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frenzy Extra. I'm Andy Lacombe, coming to you from Upton, here, home of the Nipmuc Warriors, on a sweltering hot day for practice. And Nipmuc coming off a big win over Northbridge that has the Warriors at 3-0 in the early season. We'll talk a little bit more to them in just a few minutes. First, we start in Division 3, the big boys. St. John's 3-0, the number one team in the land right now, taking on Wachusett this week. It's a huge rivalry game, and it's one the Pioneers even admit is a big one on their schedule.
3-0, we're all glad and happy about how we're playing, and we look to continue that success.
We've been working hard for the past 4 or 5 weeks, and we're really trying to put the hard work into wins during the season.
We're all pretty hyped that we're 3-0, but it's all because of the hard work that we put in these past weeks and during the summer. So we've all been working this past year just to get a strong team. Leominster is a really tough program. They're always good, and playing at Doyle Field is always a good time.
Back in Central Mass, it's great to play another team that's in our division and show everyone that we're the top dogs.
Doyle Field, a lot of fun playing there, and it was just a great win.
This game's always one of the biggest games for me personally, just because I'm from the Wachusett region. But for everyone else, it's a big game just because they come out and play us hard every single year. So they give it everything they have.
Both teams know that the one team's coming out 4-0, the other one's going to have a loss on their record. It's going to be a dogfight.
It has a playoff type of environment, type of feel, you know what I mean? They're a great team, and I'm confident our coach is going to put together a great game plan, and we're going to go out and execute it.
The games are definitely very intense. We're both considered the Nears, but the real Nears will come out on Friday.
Just down the road from St. John's, Shrewsbury High's 3-0. They figure to be a favorite for postseason contention as well, the defending state finalists and Central Mass champs. Colonials 3-0 and looking to keep their momentum going here in week 4.
Right now, we're all wicked excited to get to practice every day. We got to have good practices, first of all. We got to have a lot of energy at practice, but right now we're excited. Good start so far, but we got to keep it going.
We haven't really played to our full potential yet because there's still small mistakes that nobody really sees, but we need to clean those up. And I think if we do that, then we'll have a pretty good season. We have to fix up all our mistakes because we've had a lot of those past 3 games. But other than that, we've been playing fast, we've been playing hard, so I think we'll have a good game.
Our O-line has been doing an outstanding job at holding down the forts in the front. We just really been playing hard, playing with a lot of heart. It's a huge game. I think it's our first divisional game. They're 0-3, but that doesn't mean anything. Coach Aloisi keeps saying how they're the best 0-3 team in Massachusetts. We're going into it like every other game, though, but you can tell we're all really hyped up to play them. Big fan section. It's going to be nice at Doyle Field. They got the nice turf and everything, but it should be a really fun game to play.
Just across the street at Blackstone Valley Tech, the Fighting Beavers also 3-0, coming off an impressive win over Leicester this past weekend. Blackstone Valley Tech lost a lot of offense a year ago, but they're stressing physicality, maybe even more so than they have in years past, and it's been a method of success so far for BVT.
We relied a lot on 2 main or seniors last year, and since we have a lot of new guys and new starting positions, it's really nice to see us stepping up.
Our excitement has been through the roof, actually, and so we've been still practicing very hard, and he always wants us to practice like we lost 42-0 every week and not get overconfidence with ourselves because we can still lose at any moment.
Everything we've been doing all year, just continue it and hope to beat them on their own field. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting like this, but I know we can get a lot better and we can keep it up and maybe play for a championship.
All right, here at Nipmuc, the Warriors are 3-0, an impressive win over Northbridge, a real eye-opener for the program and people around Central Massachusetts. Now Nipmuc gets ready for another test, a road game under the lights Friday night at Hudson, and the guys gearing up for another battle.
It's big being 3-0, but it's early in the season, like you said, and we just got to go get the next game, I guess. And they're a well-coached team. No hate on them. We just got to go from here and forget about the last game.
Feels good to be 3-0, but like Drew said, it's just 3-0. We have a long season ahead, a lot of things to get done.
We reloaded because we had some depth, actually. We have a lot of skill guys, and through hard work in the off-season and through the beginning of the season, we've been great. This group, I really feel like we're gelling together. After that Week 3 win, this team's coming together, and I love it. And we're getting some players to step in, and I just like how we're keeping the ball rolling.
Just makes us hungrier from what we got last year. Want to do better than last year, of course, so got to come out practice, and we've been working hard in off season.
Big games coming up this week. We'll have some coverage for you on them. St. John's and Wachusett, a big one at the mountaintop. Shrewsbury goes to Leominster. The Blue Devils trying to get off the schneid, and Shrewsbury trying to remain perfect. Leicester and Grafton in what should be a slugfest. Two teams coming off tough losses. Auburn and Tantascwa. Auburn Rockets look to keep the momentum going, and Shepherd Hill and Algonquin Thursday night. We'll have the coverage for you right here on The Frenzy. Time for a quick break. When we come back, Kevin Shea, Jim Wilson in an air-conditioned studio talking about the big matchups and the week that was in high school football. Stay with us on The Frenzy Extra.
Bay State Savings Bank brings you
Kasasa. What's Kasasa? It's a catchy word for earning cash that just might make you want to dance. Get paid for doing simple things you do anyway. That's free Kasasa checking.
Ask for Kasasa by name at Bay State Savings Bank, proud sponsor of the Friday Night Football Frenzy.
Coming up this week on the Friday Night Football Frenzy, it's an old-fashioned Swiggle showdown as Leicester visits Grafton. Auburn goes on the road taking on Tantascwa. It's the 146 Rumble as Uxbridge travels to battle Millbury. And the mountaintop will be rocking as St. John's visits the Wachusett Mountaineers. The Frenzy on Charter TV3. The Frenzy presented by Bay State Savings Bank, the law offices of Joseph J. Cariglia, Worcester State University, and Unibank. Welcome back, everyone. Kevin Shea with Jim Wilson, the sports editor for the Telegram and Gazette. Willie, some great games to get to this week.
Big ones.
Some phenomenal ones on Friday. Let's start right off with Jim Archambault, Blackstone Valley Tech, and Assabet. This is going to be a great game. Blackstone Valley Tech coming in 3-0. Meanwhile, Assabet's 2-1, and BVT coming off a huge win over a very, very good Leicester team. And they're handing out the championship belts, which I love, for the offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game. They get to wear the championship belt, but only if the team wins. And I love it because Archie's, it's an individual award, but the team comes first.
You mean to tell me if you didn't have a belt in high school, I would be like Latimer in the parking lot, putting my head through windows if Kronoff gave me a belt to win. I would be on steroids so fast trying to win that thing every week. That's a fantastic thing. The fact he has like the NWO belt or the Smoking Skull belt just given out to some winner.
You come walking out wearing
I'd
the
never take it off.
belt.
I'd be hated all week at school.
All week long.
I'd be just driving people nuts. I'd play with it on Friday.
And social media now, too. Every picture you'd have the championship
every
belt.
time.
And
I'd be taking out to lunch with me.
Change your profile pictures. Well, you look at this Blackstone Valley Tech team, some real impressive wins for them. You look at one thing that I'm looking at first is going to be defense. And they had to replace, Archie had to replace almost the entire team starters offensively and defensively. But defensively, Sam Nero, Ethan Blake, Nicholas Reed, three of the big playmakers on defense, and another one of those old Northbridge guys. Matty Blood is the defensive coordinator. He was a great player in high school. He and Archie are close, and he's done a great job with that defense over there for the Beavers.
Exactly. The defense is going to keep a lot of teams close. Assabet's very dangerous. Their first two wins over Hudson and Prouty, they scored over 40 points. So, I mean, that's a tough offense to shut down. So I think that's going to be tested. It'll be hard to get the belt this week. But, you know, after they're coming off that win over Leicester is huge. You know, and especially they're going to the wing tee. I don't think Leicester was expecting that. They really went to the strength on the ground. He has three great running backs, J.D. Antaya, Connor Palomaros, Aiden Fitzgerald. Either one can carry the load. And I love offenses like that where you can't just key on one guy and shut him down and hope that's it.
Right.
So, but Assabet, you know, let's be honest, you know, losing to Millbury last week, all due respect to the Woolies, I think Assabet might have been looking ahead to this game a little bit, and that cost them. I don't think they were expecting the Woolies to come out and get that signature win early. Yep. Great win for that program. I love the staff over there. They're doing good things. But Assabet, I think, was looking a little ahead to the Beavers, and you know, they wanted, you know, I think they need a statement win. They need to show back they can belong in this win over Valley Tech. Nobody's thinking about that Millbury loss.
No, and you and I were talking about this very well could be for the league title. It's still early in the season, but this could be for the league title game. Bay Path has got a real good team as well. But that's how big, that's how important this game is for both teams. And as you mentioned, you know, Assabet just scoring a lot of points. They need to kind of get back into that rhythm. And the three-headed monster that Blackstone Valley has at running back, they can wear teams down. And it's okay, you know, you may stop us in the first quarter, but we're going to keep going to all three guys. They're not going to feature one guy. Everyone's fresh in the third quarter and fourth quarter. Very tough to tackle those guys in the second half of games. Doherty, St. Peter, Marion. This is a great one. It's like the Miami Notre Dame game. A lot of smack talk between these two teams because
These are kids that grew up playing together. They grew up going to elementary school together, grew up playing baseball together. They grew up playing Pop Warner together. Now they're going against one another. There's a lot of chatter always before this game, during the game, after the game, and it's a great matchup. Again, above all the talk and the hype, this is a great matchup. This is two real talented teams.
Yeah, if anybody from the MIA, the school administration is listening, just sort of look away for a second, because we're not supposed to say we love the stuff that goes off the field, and you go into the locker room after the game, and you don't want to walk past that bus because it's the hell to pay for the team, getting yelled at. I think new coaching staff at St. Peter Mary, but the kids are still the same. They still grew up together. They still want this win more than anything. I think St. Peter Mary coming off a loss to Concord Carlisle last week, I think they want that one back. I think, again, similar to what the last game we talked about, a win, win over Doherty, a big rivalry game, gets people not thinking about that loss anymore, gets them back on track. With Danny Malm doing on both sides of the ball, I think that's going to be a good statement game for him if he has a good game against Doherty. Matt Dumphy, Owen Leary, keying that offense, they're tough to stop. But it's going to come down, can they stop Tejan Vassar?
Right, and that's the big question. What's going to happen in the second half? St. Peter Marion led at the half against Concord a week ago. They were up 21-20. They just couldn't stop the Patriots in the second half. And I look at the line for Doherty, that offensive and defensive line, Biznett and the big horses up front. These kids are strong. They're fast. They can move. So Doherty can pull the guards. They can pull the tackles. They can create some mismatches, or they can go straight ahead and just try to push you back like the old board drill. I think this is a real tough Doherty team to stop, especially when they just ride those horses up front. That's where I think this game is going to be won or lost for Doherty, is up front, in the trenches, in the pits, the way that old school football games are won.
And you look at any good Doherty team over the years, when they're winning state titles or not, whether they have Yidam or Smallwood or any of those guys up front that people talk about, they all had a dominant line. And I think that's the key. Then they have it again this year, so I think it'll be tough to stop.
Yeah, and they protect Chris Schoen well, the quarterback for Doherty, and with Brunel. Hauls in, literally, he's like Spider-Man. Anything that touches his hands, he catches. So they have great weapons, as they always do, as we mentioned, but it's the guys up front, giving the quarterback time, opening the holes for the running back, and then defensively, the front seven, controlling the line of scrimmage. And when you can do that, you're going to get a lot of 3-and-outs. Your offense is going to wear that defense down. And in a game where you have guys playing both ways, that pays dividends in the second half.
They learned their lesson against Wachusett, too. They sort of wore it down in overtime. Got to give some love to the fat kids. Doherty can do the job.
They did a great job, and that's going to take us to our next game. We talk about Wachusett and St. John's. Another rivalry game, another one where, if you win just one game every year, this is the one to win for each team. It is big. It's going to be great. We've seen St. John's 3-0, Wachusett 3-0. Wachusett with a huge win against Doherty, as you mentioned, on opening week. St. John's has 3 very impressive wins. They were held in check last week for one half against Leominster 7-7. They explode 34 points overall. The second half belonged to St. John's, and once that rain stopped, they were able to do what they wanted to do, passing the football, and Leominster went into the double wing formation to try to just eat clock and to try to take possessions away from St. John's. When you do that, you've done something really well against the Dave Palazzi coach team, when he's saying, we just want to control the clock.
Exactly, and Leominster, we talked about it last week. Leominster had those 2 bad losses to open the season. That was a good win to show that they can play with anybody. But like you said, they just ran out of horses, and I'm sure St. John's went in the locker room at halftime and figured out what was wrong. I think they just took control in the second half. They have too many weapons to stop. And Wachusett loves this. I mean, you talk about needing a belt. You don't think Moriarty wants a big belt if the headmaster will let him? Just to get like the Miami chain. Miami was giving away the chain on the sidelines. This would be the perfect time to it. Because wouldn't it be better to score a touchdown against Wachusett and then put a big gaudy chain on your receiver at the sideline? But that's what it comes down to. Wachusett needs, like you said earlier, these teams, don't give me that stuff about you. We don't look ahead. We don't circle a game. This is one of the games
These
they
are
do.
17-year-old
Next week
kids.
They got Shrewsbury.
They look ahead.
Exactly.
They know exactly who they're playing, and they know what this means.
And how many years have St. John's had a good thing going, and Wachusett comes in and smacks them in the mouth, and then next thing you know, they're back to square one. They're chasing points in the power rankings. They look at Peter Oliver, Iman Dennis, and those guys and say, okay, we're going to try to square up against these guys. The Wachusett coaching staff is very good. They're in the lab trying to figure out what to do. They saw what Leominster did last week, so they know the Russians cut a little bit. So they know they can see what they can do. And can they try to just capitalize on this? They have the horses not to get worn down in the second half. They proved against Doherty. They get the weapons. Like Cole Darkin is going to give these guys fits trying to stop them all game. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, Sam Brewer's another one for Wachusett. They got to have a big game out of him. One of the keys for Wachusett, their coaching staff, we've talked about this, does such a great job of working the play clock down. Every single possession, they are going to try to take as much time off the clock as they can, limit the possessions that St. John's has on offense. But what it's going to come down to is they're going to have to get a couple key third downs. Wachusett's they're going to need to hit on probably 4 third downs during this game in order to pull off this win. And again, special teams is always going to be a factor. They have a good kicker, and Griffin McDonald can kick the ball so you can get 3 points, where in the past, in some teams, you might be around that 25-yard line, 20-yard line. You say, well, we got to go for it because we don't have a kicker. Wachusett has a kicker. When you can put points up, punting's going to be huge too, because field position, you need to make a team drive the entire length of the field, no matter what level you're at, because just self-inflicted errors a lot of times will stop drives. But Peter Oliver, you talked about 13-yard average rushing, 53-yard average receiving.
He's caught 3 passes.
yards per reception.
He's caught 3 passes.
That's
2 of them have gone for
ridiculous.
touchdowns.
It's ridiculous.
So, I mean, it's like, what do? You throw your hands up as a coordinator, so you can't really.
Right, and then if you take your linebackers and safeties and say, okay, we got to cover Oliver, we got to cover Dennis, then Zach Pedoni's one-on-one, Mark Sheffers is one-on-one, Coleman Drugach is one-on-one, mismatches wherever you go. This is going to be a great game, too, and it's a great chess match. It always is. Barry Walsh and Melky Shabo, the quarterback for Wachusett, and the wide receiver, Barry Walsh. They need to have a couple big throws. Like I said, 4 key third downs. If they can convert a couple big plays, keep drives alive, keep using that clock, and get points at the end of them, it's going to be big for them.
And Dubzinski's shown he's a more pass happy this year.
Yeah.
I mean, by that, what's Wachusett? It's going to be 5 games.
Right, exactly.
So it's
But they're willing to throw it.
Do it when it's important.
And Shabo's accurate. Marlboro, Neshoba,
another huge
the
one.
Battle of the big backs.
This is
you
huge.
Look at Hume, Kyle Hume rather, for Neshoba. Zach was his brother. Kyle Hume for Neshoba, Lou Vigent for Marlboro. 2 beasts. I mean, these are big Mike Allstott-like backs. I'd hate to have to try to tackle these guys.
Game's going to take about 45 minutes to play. It's going to be fantastic. I mean, this is just, there's no secrets here. Marlboro plays pretty much everybody on their offense, but the mentality stays the same. Just line them up. Just go, it's a demolition derby for 4 quarters, and there's not going to be no Northbridge style drop passes or bump passes or anything like that. It's just we're going to have our guys. We're going to go right at you, run it down your throat, see what you got.
Smash mouth football. I love it. It is rivalry week.
I can't wait. Finally,
and
good week of games.
It's going to be a good week. Good highlights for you on the Frenzy this week. For Jim Wilson, I'm Kevin Shea. We're back with more of the Frenzy Extra right after this.
I'm District Attorney Joe Worley, and I'm proud to partner with Charter Communications with our pledge to help raise awareness that bullying should not be tolerated. From local school students, here is our message.
Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it. Don't forward it. Think twice what you type.
We need to foster safe environments for students in their schools and their communities. Join the anti-bully crusade. Take a stand to lend a hand. Don't be a bully.
Presented by the law offices of Joseph J. Corriglia.
Coming up this week on the Friday Night Football Frenzy, it's an old-fashioned Swickle showdown as Leicester visits Grafton. Auburn goes on the road, taking on Tantasqua. It's the 146 Rumble as Uxbridge travels to battle Millbury. And the mountaintop will be rocking as St. John's visits the Wachusett Mountaineers. The Frenzy on Charter TV3. The Frenzy presented by Bay State Savings Bank, the law offices of Joseph J. Corriglia, Worcester State University, and Unibank. All right, this week our Brenna Wilson visits the Bartlett Indians. The Indians 3-0 and impressive wins in the first 3 weeks. And Brenna checks in with the guys to see how they can keep things rolling for week 4.
Hard work, working hard.
It's the motto for the Bartlett Indians this season.
One thing we instill here is hard work. We break down to it every day, and the kids know that to be the best team on the field week in, week out, it takes hard work.
The Indians are 3-0 heading into league play, and the hard work seems to be paying off. The Indians are averaging 35 points per game while only allowing an average of 16 points.
The way I see it is every game we take it as 0-0 as our schedule. We didn't win any games. Take it one game at a time.
3-0 start is great, but that's not the season. We're still in September here, and the biggest tests still await. And now we're into the Swickle schedule, and you go see a team like Northbridge that has got the greatest coach in state history, and has got a great group of players. Those kids have grown up in that system, and to go out there and win a game like this, you know, it would be huge for our program, and that's what we're working towards right now.
Last year, the Indians made it to the Central Mass Division IV semifinals, losing to West Boylston. This year, the team looks to go even further.
Make it further than we ever did before.
This season, obviously the expectations are always high, but you got to keep working hard in order to exceed those expectations.
As the team nears the season's halfway point this weekend, both the players and the coach agree. In order to keep the momentum going, they need to continue to work together as a team.
Right now we're working together, but we got to improve. Northbridge, they're a tough team, and if we're going to beat them, we got to come together as a team.
We just start the tempo in practice every week. Just come out hard and then come out even harder on Fridays.
Just continue to work hard and continue to give it all you got, and the results will show.
The kids have been working hard, and we've had great contributions by our assistant coaches, just everybody working as one unit, and we've seen some results so far that have been positive, and if these kids keep it together, I think we'll do some good things as the course of the year rolls on.
For the Frenzy Extra, I'm Brenna Wilson.
Thanks, Brenna. Time for another quick break. We're back with more of the Frenzy Extra right after this.
Doors. Every door is different. Every door, unique. And each one tells a story. Open a door at Unibank and you'll find a unique place. A bank where we listen to you and find answers. All to help you write your unique success story. Welcome to the new Unibank. Please, after you. Unibank. Bank different. Bank unique. Member FDIC. Member DIF. Equal housing lender.
Coming up this week on the Friday Night Football Frenzy, it's an old-fashioned Swiggle showdown as Leicester visits Grafton. Auburn goes on the road, taking on Tantasqua. It's the 146 Rumble as Uxbridge travels to battle Millbury. And the mountaintop will be rocking as St. John's visits the Wachusett Mountaineers. The Frenzy on Charter TV3. The Frenzy presented by Bay State Savings Bank, the law offices of Joseph J. Cariglia, Worcester State University, and Unibank. Welcome back. This week, the Holy Cross Football Crusaders taking on Lafayette, a Patriot League opponent. Lafayette hasn't won a game yet, but they played some pretty strong teams so far on their schedule. Tom Gilmore not taking the Leopards lightly at all, and coming off of a heartbreaker against Dartmouth, Holy Cross will want to get restarted and get a big win in the league.
It's always a big game, a league game. Getting back into the league, we're 1-0 right now, and this really gives us an opportunity to really get the leg up on the rest of the conference if we can pull out another win. So, from that standpoint, it's really important, and it's only the second home game of the year. So, getting back to fit and then getting back to the home crowd, is always nice. But we always want to look our best when we get back home too. It's a dangerous situation in that they're going to be better this week than last. And that perception is that, they're an 0-4 football team. How good can they be? Well, there's very rarely a football game I've been involved in that has been an easy win. So it's always going to be a challenge, and you hope to wipe out that record and just, focus on beating the opponent.
Holy Cross and Lafayette see the game live on Charter TV3 beginning at 1 p.m. from Fitton Field. Over at Assumption, the Greyhounds continue to impress. They've moved up a couple spots, top 22 right now in the country in Division II after an impressive win over Merrimack. Though if you talk to the Hounds, they still know they have a lot of work to do. They're not taking anything for granted.
They're a good team. We were expecting a good team coming into the week, so we just had to be on top of our game, execute, and be prepared coming into this. We started hot early, defensively, special teams, offensively, everything was kind of rolling in the right direction, so it kind of set the tone early.
How good does this show that not only your team but your defense can be? You've got some tough tests as well coming up.
There's going to be teams that we're going to see. They're going to play us maybe tougher, maybe not, you know. So like I said, the big thing is start of that week, just prepare and execute, pay attention to detail, and just make sure everything's on the right page. You know, our defense is clicking, offense is clicking, so when that's dangerous when that's going. The younger guys are doing great. You know, Springs, Carlins are stepping up. We just compete every day. It's what it's all about, and they're doing really well, and they're just going to continue to do that.
All right, playing in a starring role for the Assumption defense, Ray Sarkadiah, the St. Peter Marian grad, enjoying playing close to home and having a ton of success so far this season.
Every single day we come on and practice, we have energy from the beginning of practice to the end of practice. Coach wants us to compete in everything we do. Coach trusts me as much as he trusts the first, second, third string. It doesn't matter who's out there. We're going to fight, and that's what we're going to keep doing until the rest of the game's over.
How much fun has it been for you to kind of continue your game close to home?
It's been pretty funny, you know, friends and family come up, but at the end of the day, like when I get here, it feels a completely different feel. Everyone I know, people are from California, all these other places, and I love playing with them. It's the best experience of my life.
To the Frenzy Alumni Dean's List now, expanded edition. So many great performances this past week. We start with Sean McEwen. We called him McKeon back at Shepherd Hill, but he's McEwen now at Michigan. 5 receptions, 82 yards, led the team against Purdue. Kevin Mensah, also from Shepherd Hill and Holy Name, playing at UConn, 107 yards rushing, led his team against East Carolina. Dan Orlando, no mistaking him, from Westboro, and he plays at Worcester State. 7 receptions, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns against Westfield. Mike Quinn, also at Worcester State, played at Northbridge, 9 tackles, a fumble recovery for a touchdown against the Owls. He was named MASCAC Defensive Rookie of the Week. Nick Ostrowski, he played at Shepherd Hill. He's at WPI now, having a big year, 10 tackles and a forced fumble in a loss to Springfield. Jake Bizko played at St. John's. He's at UMass, 4 tackles, 1.5 tackles for a loss in a close loss to Tennessee. The Q, Kieran Wright, out of Holy Name, playing at Framingham State, 96 yards rushing and a touchdown against Mass Maritime. And how about Isaac Yidam from Doherty, playing at Boston College, 8 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and an interception in a tough one to Clemson. And then my man, Drew Jean-Guillaume, enchanté, from Shepherd Hill, playing at Central Connecticut, 61 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns versus Walsh. A lot of great performances, a lot of FBS great performances from Central Mass kids this past weekend. All right, well, that'll do it for this week of the Frenzy Extra. We're going to go hit the ice baths for another week and be ready for you on the Frenzy on Friday night, and then we'll see you next week right here on the Frenzy Extra.
Thank you.